The woman who rejected me from my dream job warmed with me 5 years later. The woman who brutally rejected me from my dream job sat across from me in an interview yesterday, perned for a position, reporting directly to me. She had no idea who I was until I slid her own rejection letter across the table. 5 years ago, I interviewed at Meridian Publishing for an editorial assistant position. I was fresh out of college, had interned at 3 publications, and believed I was perfect for the role. After 3 rounds of interviews, I met with Diana Warren, the senior editor who would be my direct supervisor. Diana arrived 20 minutes late without apology, barely glanced at my portfolio, and interrupted me constantly when I mentioned my thesis on emerging digital platforms. She laughed. "Publishing is about books, not apps," she said dismissively. "But I'm sure those little Instagram posts were fun to write." A week later, I received a rejection email. Most companies send generic letters, but Diana's was specifically cruel. "Your writing samples demonstrate fundamental weaknesses in structure and voice. Your understanding of publishing is superficial at best. I recommend pursuing a different industry where enthusiasm might compensate for your lack of natural talent." I cried for hours. Then I printed that email and taped it to my bathroom mirror as daily motivation. I took a job at a small literary website instead. I built their social media presence from 3,000 followers to over 800,000 in 2 years. When a major media company acquired us, I became their youngest ever content director. Last year, I accepted a position as executive editor at Meridian's main competitor, where I built a team that's revolutionizing how publishing connects with digital audiences. Yesterday, my assistant informed me that my 2 o'clock interview had arrived. Peertl Diana Warren, her resume, had come through app without crossing my desk. According to her, Twist and Meridian had eliminated her position during a digital restructuring. Now she was interviewing for a senior strategist role on my team. She didn't recognize me at first. I changed my hair, lost weight from stress during our startup phase, and no longer projected the desperate eagerness of a recent graduate. Diana spoke confidently about her 20 years of experience, emphasizing her traditional publishing expertise while awkwardly trying to suggest she embraced digital media. When I asked about her specific experience with Modiator storytelling, she stumbled through vague answers. "One last question," I said, reaching into my desk drawer. "How would you handle giving feedback to someone whose work you find lacking?" I slid her rejection letter across the table. Her eyes widened as she read her own words. When she looked up, I saw the moment recognition dawned. "You are Emily Chen," I finished. "The candidate with fundamental weaknesses and no natural talent." The color drained from her face. I sent many rejection letters. It was nothing personal. It felt personal, I replied calmly. Yet for the part suggesting I leave the industry entirely. She stammered an apology, explaining the pressures she'd been under, the hundreds of applications they received. I let her finish, then said, "I am not going to reject you because of a letter you wrote 5 years ago. That would be unprofessional." I paused. "I am rejecting you because your skills don't match our needs. Your understanding of digital media is superficial at best, and your portfolio demonstrates fundamental weaknesses in the areas critical to this role." Her hands trembled slightly as she gathered her things. "One more thing," I added as she stood to leave. "The industry is smaller than you think. I recommend being kinder to those on their way up. You never know who might be sitting across the table from you someday." I didn't feel the vindication I'd imagined for years. Instead, I felt something better, pain, the realization that her words, which once had the power to devastate me, now meant nothing at all.